All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We are live and direct here on the Pop Sports Network. It's me, Dustino, live from the Fantasy Garage on another Friday night edition of the Weekend Update. Thank you so much for hopping in with us. Welcome in. It's Friday night. You know how we do it. It's nighttime is the right time. We got a high noon going. We're ready to have a good time. Get you ready for the weekend. Get you ready with all the sports updates. If you're on the channel for the first time, make sure you like and subscribe. Get in here. We got huge news around here at the Pop Sports Network. We are now at 1,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to give it up to you. There it is. Absolutely. Round of applause for all you passing the word along, passing it to friends, passing it to family, whoever you can to get your action here, right? We have a lot of stuff on the channel. We've added some new shows pretty much every day of the week. We got somebody here you can come on with, talk sports, get things off your chest, right? I grew up in Connecticut listening to radio station, one of the first sports talk radio stations ever, WFAN, which is out of New York. Mike and the Mad Dog, may have heard of them, all different channels, Imus in the morning, all that. One of the great things about sports, first of all, it's a getaway from the real world. Second of all, these shows, my show, hopefully, as it continues to grow, you got to start from somewhere, will continue to grow. And this is a place to vent. This is a place you can get things off your chest, talk sports. We can go over things. We can agree. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree, whatever the case may be. Let us know in the chat. Get involved. I want you guys to, I have a direction for the show, but you guys can help me steer which way we go. Now, you see our short videos that come out quite a bit. We had some stuff last night. We hit the Raiders first half. Beautiful. We didn't hit the Michael Mayer over 3.5 catches. He had 3 catches in the first quarter and a half. He had three catches right off the hop. Never got that fourth quarterback. The long story short, don't trust Geno Smith. If you need Geno Smith to help you get your stuff, don't trust any of these garbage quarterbacks, okay? Because, it was perfect. We had it handicap perfect. Broncos were going to pass rush. You got to get the ball out quick. Go to Michael Mayer. How does Brock Bowers end up with 1 catch, by the way? How does he end up with 1 catch? And you just knew the Broncos were going to win that ball game, didn't you? You had to have that feeling, right, folks? Right? When the Raiders dominated the first 2 quarters of the ball game, and you're like, how are they only up 7-0? They should have been up 17-0, 21-0, 20-0, minimum 10 or 13-0, and just shooting them in the foot. And that's what bad teams do, right? We know that. That's what bad teams do. They find a way. Raiders going to Raider. Jets going to Jet. Unfortunately, for the last handful of years, my Giants are going to Giant. We're going to find a way to lose. You can follow me on Twitter at Dustino1. I'll give out some picks and things like that on there. And we could chat, DM me, whatever the case may be. Welcome in. Let's get cozy. It's Friday night. Nighttime's the right time. Let me know in the chat what you're sipping on. You got any questions? You got any fantasy stuff? We're going to get to it all. I promise you. We go through every game. We're very thorough. We'll get you covered. For those of you watching, and if you know or don't know, I'm in the golf industry. This weekend is my club's member guest. So it's a crazy weekend. So the fact that I was even able to get on here live and do any kind of research this week when trying to get ready for member guests, that's like the Super Bowl for golf pros or for a golf club. So it's been a hectic week. It's been, 5:30 every day, getting up at 5:30 in the morning and going to bed late and brain's going crazy and doing a lot of things. But anyhow, we're here. We wouldn't miss this for the world. So welcome into the weekend update on the Pop Sports Network as we get going. All right. First things first, we got to handle some business. I made a short video this morning. For some reason, it didn't upload to the channel. Okay. I've talked about it before in some of the different shows that I've been my show. And then I've been a guest, luckily, on Abby's rants, sports rants with Abby and friends. I've been on TJ and Buff show on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. And, I know when to stay in my lane. I know what I think I know. And I'm smart enough to know what I don't know and not speak about things I don't know. Okay. But NFL, love it. Baseball, love it. Okay. Feel like I could speak very smartly on that, wisely on that. Okay. NBA, nope. No, thank you. Not my thing anymore. Used to be not my thing anymore. Okay. College basketball, absolutely love it. College football, not so much. A little bit. Okay. And you get my short videos, and we've actually, I think we're 3-0 or 4-0 on the few college plays I've given you. So I pick those very, very judiciously. I don't just go, spouting stuff that I don't know about, right? But what I find with college a lot of times is I look for spots. I look for teams, and this happens so much in college football. Teams coming off a mega high, bet against them the next time, every single time. These are college kids. They're emotional. They get a big win or a huge upset. If you just go against them the next game, I would guarantee you hit 60%, 70%, 80%. It's crazy. Upset win, right? They were a 10-point dog and they won the game. You go against that team every single time the next week. I would almost guarantee you're going to do pretty well. And then, go against Notre Dame. Go against those big name teams, because a lot of times there's a point and a half, 2 points that gets inflated the other way. And you're just getting value, right? It may only be a point. We know how sharp these odds makers are, right? We know how good they are. So if you can get a point and a half, 2 points to your side, your advantage, you got to take it and run. And you got to hope that you hit, that magic number of 53, 54%, somewhere in that neighborhood. And speaking of which, right, that 53, 54%, pretty proud of our 31-22 record against the spread, totals, teasers. Don't do a ton of teasers, but 2 weeks in a row, we've nailed Bills, Ravens teasers. We're just hammering Bills, Ravens. We'll see if we get to that. We'll see if we keep going back to the well with Bills, Ravens. We got a bunch of people in here. So appreciate you being in. Appreciate you getting in the chat. Again, you can help steer the direction of the show. John DiPolina, our guest, our Patriots expert, that was on 2 weeks ago on our great show. Also the golf pro that was out in New Mexico with his youngsters playing in the PGA Junior League Championships out in New Mexico. Can't wait to hear about those Patriots. Listen, the Patriots have been solid. Absolutely solid. Rock solid. Now, we did win against those Patriots this past week. We did have the Falcons. So, again, we're, winning games, one thing. We're here to talk about lines and some of the betting, right? That's what we're here to talk about. So, as a team continues to rise up, and everybody pumps them up, how great they are, how good they are, sometimes you get value. We'll get to that game shortly. Hopefully, you'll be with us when we get to it. Thank you very much. John DiPolina, a.k.a. The Godfather, who we'll have on the show again, no doubt, especially around playoff time if those Patriots continue to play the way they are. Drake May, obviously a candidate for MVP. Second-year breakout. I'm going to take a victory lap for all my fantasy people, all my dynasty fantasy people. Drake May was my guy. I had Drake May over Jaden Daniels. I had Drake May over Caleb Williams. Drake May over Nix. Drake May was my number one guy. I wanted the Giants to go again. Now, was I happy with Neighbors? Absolutely. Am I still happy with Neighbors? Absolutely. We got Dart, so things worked out in the long run. So now, if we didn't have a quarterback, then I certainly would be a little more fired up that we weren't able to pull up that trade. As you know, the Giants did try to trade with the Patriots and move up to 3, but the Patriots stood pat, which I don't blame them. Now look at them. They got a franchise quarterback. Giants got a franchise quarterback. All is right in the world. And maybe we'll see in the Super Bowl again one of these days, right? Instead of Brady and Eli, maybe we'll see Drake and Dart. May and Dart, Jackson and Drake, however you want to say it. May and Dart. It's going to be a lot of good times. But we got to get to something quick because it's 6:38 p.m. We got a 7 o'clock game. As I said before, college basketball is something that I don't want to say expert. Certainly as tournament time gets going, 100%. I think I'm pretty darn good at nailing those college. Some guys can attest to it. You'll get people in the chat if they know me. I know my college hoops when it comes around. Now it's early in the season, okay? We got to see these teams play. However, I think we got a little bit of an edge tonight. So there's a 7 o'clock game. I see our buddy Ken Rock is in the house. Ken Rock rides with us, man. He's a ride or die, that guy. He's been on every show since we started. Appreciate you on, Ken. I got a little something, Ken. So if you got a chance, here we go. This is what I got. I got a college basketball play that starts at 7 o'clock. So it starts in 20 minutes. We can follow it while we're on the show here, okay? While we're here in the Fantasy Garage. Oakland Grizzlies came in third place in the Horizon League last year. They've been to multiple NCAA tournaments over the last handful of years. They're based out of Detroit, Michigan. Tough, hard-nosed team. They play people hard. They're getting 31.5 points at Purdue. Purdue is not known as a team that blows people out. But here's where I lean, especially early in the year. The Oakland Grizzlies have 4 fifth-year seniors coming back from a team that finished third in their conference, made it to their conference final. Did not win the conference final, made it to the conference final. Multiple other seniors coming back. I like that. I like a team. It takes time to gel, right? You can only do so much in practice. You got to get out in the court and play and gel or whatever. We've got a seasoned veteran team. And people always ask me, Dustino, why are there so many dang upsets in the NCAA nowadays? Well, it's because of the freshman thing, right? These freshmen come in and they go, right? And they get practice, and then they get 25, 30 games to play together and gel. That's not enough to become a great cohesive unit. Basketball is a 5-man team. Everybody's got to be going the same way. These small schools get these average recruits, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star recruits, but they season together. They play 2, 3, 4 years, sometimes 5. Like I said, they got 4 fifth-year seniors. They get a lot of time to play together, and they're a team. They know when this guy's doing a backdoor cut. They know when this guy's doing this. They know when this guy's doing that. And I just think that's a huge edge. So there's my first official college basketball play of the year. We've got the Oakland Grizzlies plus 31.5 at Purdue, number 1 Purdue. But Purdue's not a team that typically blows people away. They don't have that big center, Zach Edey, anymore. So it's not going to be just total domination in the paint. I love the Oakland Grizzlies plus 31.5. So there you go. You got a nice little play for me. And I'm going to give you one more before we dive into the football. I'm going to give you one college football game that I like. I like the over. This starts at 8 o'clock. So you got a little time on that one. Over 47.5 in the UCF and Houston game. Okay. UCF against Houston. It's here in Orlando. It is, you can't ask for a nicer night. It's 65, 70 degrees. I got the garage door open. I'll probably have to shut it shortly when the mosquitoes start coming in, the mosquitoes, and I got this light. They're going to be attracted to that. When that happens, I'll be shutting the fantasy garage. We'll close. We'll get a little cozy. The weather's beautiful. UCF has been scoring like crazy at home. On the road, they don't score for squat. And that's kept this number decreased. 47.5. I think they hit it in the third quarter. That's my play. UCF over 47.5. That's an 8 o'clock game. Like I said, I'm either 3-0 or 4-0 on my college plays. Don't know exactly, but it's in that neighborhood. I don't know if I lost. I don't think I've lost. So it's either 3-0 or 4-0. And I just started. I give one of those out here and there. If you have a college game, like I said, that's not my main thing. My main thing is NFL. But if you have a college game you want to know about, I'll take a look at the line. I'll take a look, see if I can think about a motivating factor, a look ahead, a weather thing, or whatever the case may be. See if we can't find it. Let us know what you're sipping on in the chat. Like I said, Ken Rock is in the house. John DiPolita, Bears coming off a big win this week. You like the Giants to cover. We'll get to that game, Godfather. There's a lot of weather. It's going to be a crazy one. They're calling for rain, crazy wind, snow, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be a running game. I think it's going to be very hard to throw the ball. If you put a gun to my head, I think I'm taking the Giants, and I believe the line is 4 now, if I'm not mistaken there, Godfather. So look that up and shop around for a 4 if you can get it, if you like the Giants. I think it's a coin flip. As you guys know, I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams guy. We did have Jay Joseph, our Bears expert, on a couple weeks ago, and he liked what he was seeing from Caleb Williams, but he's very, very shaky. I think they're winning in spite of him, not because of him. Certainly, he makes some of those wow plays, but I want to see a little more consistency, a little more accuracy. He's one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. He throws more inaccurate passes than anybody else in the league, and that's got to change. He's got to learn a changeup, okay? You can't throw the ball 100 miles an hour when a guy's 5 yards away from you running a crossing route, okay? So learn a changeup. Learn how to, throw with a little bit of finesse, okay? That would be my advice for Caleb Williams. Soften it up, okay? You can't just bomb the ball. You can't be a long drive guy. You got to have touch. You got to be able to chip. You got to be able to putt, all those good things. All right. We got a quick question here. What do you think? Random question for you. What do you think about ESPN Bet essentially folding? I did see that. Listen, it's not as easy as a business as people think. Okay, now billions of dollars are flowing in now in the gambling industry. And I also think that ESPN wanted to be a little bit careful with all this controversy going down. Be a little careful. In my opinion, it's a conflict of interest. If you're going to be covering these games and covering sports and all that, I don't know that you should have your hands in on the betting and all that stuff. Now, you can have some shows about it, whatnot. It's not as big a business, right? I mean, DraftKings, let's be honest, I play a little bit in the stock market. I'm not insane with it, but I do play in it, and I actually did pretty well on DraftKings a while back, a couple years ago. It was actually the first stock that I ever really bought when I started doing trading on my own, obviously other than 401ks, where I actually did my own buying. And that company is not, they're not turning a profit. They're not making a ton of money, this DraftKings. You think they're swimming in it, right? But all these giveaways and all this and that, and the public and everybody has gotten sharper. Certainly, I have no thoughts, not even a question of going, oh, I'm a professional gambler and that's how I'm going to make a living. Come on. Now, we do this for fun, okay? At least you should be. And if you're not, then go get some help, okay? Get help, whatever you need to do. I know that's probably not what I should say since I talk about the lines, but I would like to think that the majority of my audience is doing this for fun, okay? Recreation, okay? I don't go out to the bars anymore too often. I don't go out and do this. I don't go out to dinner very often. I don't go spending frivolously on crazy stuff like I used to in my teens. This is how I enjoy having some fun, okay? Enjoy having some fun, and we've done pretty well at it. But a lot of that, sometimes it's even with the help of you guys. We get in here, we chat, we talk. I listen to a lot of podcasts on my ride to work. I don't listen to tons of music as much anymore, but I listen to podcasts. I try to get this information from everywhere and put it in here, wrap it up in a bow for us on Friday nights that you can listen for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, put me on speed. Imagine that. I don't even want to think about that because everybody tells me how fast I talk already. Could you imagine putting me on like 1.5 or 2 times speed? Yikes. That would be kind of, maybe I'll do that as a goof. I'll rewatch myself and put it at 2 times speed. You could probably get done in like an hour or something with my show and whatever, condense it. But Ken nailed it. They spent a lot of money on advertising and they're still trying to get those dollars, but it's not they have to pay a lot of money to get licensed. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but they don't make the kind of money that you think they're making. Okay. Hey, Johnny Boombots, the old bookie from down the street, that would meet you at the gas station or behind Walmart to go pay. He didn't have any overhead, okay? He didn't have advertising. He didn't have all this overhead, all that, and didn't have this world of props. And we talked about this when that gambling scandal came out a couple of weeks ago before The Godfather joined me at the beginning of my show. And then we just had another one, okay? 6, I don't know if you saw this story, 6 college basketball players just got banned for life for spreading information about prop bets, about I'm not going to hit my rebounds. I'm not going to hit my assists. I'm going to come up with a phony ankle injury, bet my unders. And it's getting really, really ugly out there, ladies and gentlemen. And I was talking to a friend today, and I would not be surprised if the government gets involved at some point. And I think the betting could still be around, betting on sides, betting on totals, things of that nature. But this whole prop thing, it's too easy. It's too easy, okay? Way too easy to manipulate, way too easy to be tempted by that buck. And I don't want to hear it about, oh, these guys are millionaires. Why on earth would they do that? It doesn't matter. Their buddy down the street they grew up with is not a millionaire, okay? So-and-so is not a millionaire. If I made it on the PGA Tour and I had a buddy that was in a real rough spot, okay, and he came to me and he said, hey, Dustino, you're over under for tomorrow's second round of the Travelers Championship in Hartford, okay, is 71.5. Do you know how easily I could go shoot 72 and nobody would, especially in golf, no one would know an absolute thing. Now, they would know, and that's why I'd be having it regulated, you're going to find out, because they would know if all of a sudden randomly Dustino has, $50,000 bet on his over 71.5 randomly on a day, right? That's a red flag. But if you wanted to just throw $5,000 on that, right? I can shoot 72. A pro golfer can do it. Now, a pro golfer can't just say, hey, I'm going to go shoot 66 and I'm going to shoot the under. That's hard. But shooting one worse, you 3-putt the last hole. You bogey the 17th hole. What? So easy to do. Absolutely easy to do, and nobody would know squat. Now, they know because, again, greed gets everybody, right? You throw in, all of a sudden there's $50,000 on this bet. That's a red flag, right? But if you were smart and, hey, I just want to throw a couple grand on it, man. Just, you're out of the tournament. You're not going to win this thing. You're rolling in money. And that's what happens. It's either they themselves having a gambling problem, or B, them trying to help a friend, help a cousin, help an uncle, whatever, get out of a jam or whatever, or just, again, pure greed. So good question there, John DiPolina. We got Ken is saying casinos are built on parlays. The opposite is live bets. I couldn't agree more. Live betting's awesome. Now, last night is a great example. So last night we had the Raiders plus 6.5 first half. Nailed it. I mean, I handicapped that one perfectly, okay? I thought I had handicapped Michael Mayer over 3.5 catches. It was plus 180. I actually got it plus 220 when I gave it out, plus 180. So I got to give you that number. I can't go with the number I got beforehand. But plus 180, right? We always do these pluses. He had 3 catches in the first quarter and a half. I got offered a cash out for my $25 bet. So I put 25 to win. I think I got back 77 was the bet, okay? Because it was plus 220. And I got offered a cash out of like 60-something bucks, and I let it ride like an idiot. I should have just taken that cash out. That's like getting offered even money when you got blackjack. You take that every time. I should have taken it, got a little greedy there, and I let it ride because I was winning the Raiders first half. So I said, let's let it ride. So I ended up washing for the night. But, yeah, live betting, you can get big advantage, especially if you're really into a team. You know, we like this UCF Houston over 47.5. Let's say this game comes out and there's no score in the first 6 minutes, but we still believe in this pick. It might drop to 43.5, 44, 42, whatever the case may be. Something that you could take advantage. Absolutely. Same thing, Purdue, right? Purdue gets out to a 10-0 start and it goes to 36.5 instead of the 31.5 that we're taking. You can hop in. You can get that. So great questions, great discussion. I told you, I don't think it's long before the government gets involved, and we're just scratching the surface. And it's these player props. Yeah, Brian Exner in here. He's an old pal of mine. I guarantee you, he can tell you when we first started having fun, making plays, making some wagers, it was game, over under, first half. Second halves weren't even all that available. And then they started slowly having second halves where at halftime you had, 10, 15 minutes. You could get a second half bet in. The Super Bowl was the only one you could do these crazy props, first touchdowns, this and that. All this player props and how many carries and how many yards and how many catches and alternate lines and how many passing. This stuff is all new, and there's a reason it wasn't around before. It's way too easy to manipulate. Same thing with baseball. You saw it with the 2 baseball pitchers for the Indians or the Guardians. I apologize. The Guardians that threw the first pitch in the dirt. And one of the bets you could take was, will the first pitch of this inning be a ball or strike? Are you kidding me? And you don't think that can be manipulated? You don't think Emmanuel Class A's friends or broke sister-in-law or cousin, hey, can you throw one in the dirt for me, man? Throw one in the dirt. Just that's it. You don't have to throw the game. You can still strike the guy out. I just need you to throw the first pitch in the ground. That's it. Isn't that nuts? I mean, that is freaking nuts, man. So anyhow, good discussions, good conversation. Remember, Oakland plus 31.5 over Purdue. Get it in now. Starts at 7 o'clock. We'll watch the live thing on my phone, and we'll see how we're doing. There we go. And he remembers this. Brian Exner, one of the greatest stories. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but man, this guy had one of the epic runs that I could ever remember. Had to be early to mid 2003, 4, 5, 6, that neighborhood. He would just take the 2 best pitchers every day, and he'd parlay them, and it was 500 to win 500 and 200 to win 200, and he was counting a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. We're not going to totally out him on how much he won back in the day, but he had a run like I've never seen. One of the more epic runs that I ever seen. I remember that. That was an unbelievable run you were on. That was the legend of OE being built right there. I remember you used to take C. Billingsley for the Dodgers. He was always a big favorite. We would take CC Sabathia was a top pitcher there. Johan Santana. Oh yeah, all those big pitchers. He'd take the top 2 pitchers that were pitching that day. Roy Halladay, rest in peace, and a money line. All right, on to the NFL. We're going to get going here with these ball games. Again, I got a 31-22 record. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers, so we're cooking. Let's keep that thing going. Okay, want to get to some injury news before we get going. For those of you doing fantasy, all that stuff, we got a bunch of guys randomly popping up out, so we want to cover that. Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jaguars. So first they lose Travis Hunter, their offensive their wide receiver and their cornerback, the number 3 pick in the draft. They lose him. Now they lose Brian Thomas Jr. So that leaves Parker Washington, who, if you watched the show last week, I gave you Parker Washington as a name to watch, a guy to stash because Travis Hunter was out. Now Brian Thomas Jr. is out. So now we got Parker Washington, but we also have Jacoby Myers, newly signed Jacoby Myers. Okay, so look for Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington. Those guys are great picks. We'll get to that game later. Maybe those are great guys to take their overs in receiving yards. They're the only 2 shows in town, right? And then you also have Diami Brown is questionable, so he may play. But I think it's Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers. Look for Travis Etienne to catch some passes, which I've always think he's been underutilized. He was an unbelievable pass catcher at Clemson. They don't really use him pass catching that often. So why? I have no idea. Let's see if Liam Cohn can unlock it. Also, the tight end. You see it on the ticker here. Hunter Long. He's their tight end. He's out. So I'm not sure who that backup tight end that's going to be in is. We'll have to look at it together. I don't think it's anybody super relevant. So it looks like it's going to be Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, Etienne out of the backfield. There's your guys. So if Jacoby Myers is out there, if Parker Washington is still out there on the wire, go get those guys. Ramondre Stevenson. Oh, my goodness. Try that again, huh? Ramondre Stevenson is out again for the Pats. So you got Travion Henderson and Terrell Jennings are going to handle the workload there. You also have Keyshawn Boutte out for them. So you've got Stephon Diggs, little tick up. You got Demario Douglas coming off a huge game, big tick up. For those guys, Hunter Henry, the tight end, Austin Hooper, the tight end. Those are great plays. And then you also have the rookie Kyle Williams. Should get on the field, but he has not done much. I was kind of high on that guy, but he has not done much with the opportunity he's got. Ricky Pearsall, again out. Brock Purdy, again out. They haven't played in weeks. The heck with those guys. I wouldn't plan on them all year for crying out loud. Terry McLaurin out. You see that with these holdouts. Guys hold out, and they don't get those reps in training camp. And you got a quad injury. You got a hamstring. You got a groin. Happens all the time. No McLaurin. Commanders are a mess. No Jaden Daniels. You got to be living on the moon if you didn't know that one or sleeping under a rock. So you should know about Jaden Daniels being out. This one popped up. This one disappoints me because this is one of our props that we hit last week. Torrey Horton, who stepped up in Cooper Kupp's absence with 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 40-some-odd yards. He's out of the game. He popped up randomly on the injury report. And no Torrey Horton this week, but Cooper Kupp will be back. So Cooper Kupp practiced today. He's going to be back. Horton out. I guess they're going to take turns. Who's out, who's in. Bucky Irving still not practicing and out. Chris Godwin still not practicing and out. So a lot of injuries in that Bucs-Pats game. So there you have it. There's our injuries at the moment. We do have some questionable ones, some guys that randomly popped up. DeAndre Swift, they say he should play. He missed last week. And obviously Kyle Monangai, another guy we talked about last week, went berserk. The running back for the Bears, 7th-round pick out of Rutgers, went nuts in a perfect spot, right? That was a great matchup for the Bears against a hapless team. It's already getting thirsty, man. It's Friday night. Got to keep up with OE. He's probably drinking some Jack Daniels. What are you drinking? Were you sipping on anything, OE? How's everything out in Austin, Texas? All right. We've got this one is crazy. This one hurts me because I got a lot of this guy. Rookie receiver for the Panthers, Tedero McMillian, popped up. And the exact words were, coach is concerned about hamstring. I think he's out. I think you got to make some other plans. Xavier Legette gets a tick up. Jalen Coker, second-year player out of, I forget where he's at, from a small school. He gets a tick up. He's got a possibility to do good. Maybe they play Hunter Renfrow. They've got Jimmy Horn. They've got some randoms. Tight end, they kind of sprinkle in a lot of guys. They have Tommy Tremble. They have Jatavian Sanders, a Dustino guy that he likes. So there you have it. Make sure, be careful. If you have Tat McMillan, make other plans. I've got him in a lot of leagues, and I got to make other plans. And Aaron Jones is hoping to play. I think he's going to be a true game-time decision against the Ravens. Obviously, that's a great matchup because the Ravens' defense against the run has not been good, although they've picked it up the last couple of weeks. I don't think Aaron Jones plays. That's just a gut feeling, but I think you're not going to find that one out until game time. So there's the injury report. We got some comments in the chat. We got a Dale's Pale Ale. Wow, OE. Getting a little more high class. Dale's Pale OE. That's probably just a pregame for you. It's 5 p.m. I think he's in Austin, Texas. So it's only 5 p.m. over there. So he's got to take it easy. You can't go to the hard stuff at 5 p.m. You gotta slow it down and take your time. All right. All right, this is your last call. Get in Oakland, plus 31.5 against Purdue. We'll keep an eye on that game. Hopefully Ken or somebody in the chat can keep an eye on that game as it goes or watch it. I'd put it on this TV, but I think we'd get banned. We'd get kicked out. We're not allowed to broadcast the game. All right, so now we got our college football playing. We got our college basketball playing. We covered some questions. We got the injuries. Now here we go. Let's get into the games. First game on the docket, a very intriguing one. The Falcons says at the Colts, but it's not really. It's the game is in Berlin, so it's the last of the international series. So set your alarms, 9:30 in the morning. I think everybody's healthy on these teams. So, but if you need to get up at 9:30, I'm going to shut the garage real quick as we get going. Mosquitoes are starting to get in there on my screen. They're kind of hovering. You probably can't see them, but the mosquitoes are starting to get out. It's, obviously daylight savings, so we're dark now. So we're going to shut the garage. We'll get nice and cozy in here, folks. As the garage door closes, we get cozy as we get into the NFL. All right. So, again, it says at, but it's not really at. It's in Berlin. Colts coming off a tough loss where they really got exposed against the Steelers. Hey, spoiler alert, that's one game we had. We had the Steelers plus 3.5. We love that. That was one of our games we hit. We got an over-under of 48. Okay. So, I'm going to give you my analysis. Again, there's no injuries really. Everybody's playing here. I'm going to give you my analysis on this game, my thoughts on this game. You see the Bijan Robinson jersey, okay? Now, the Colts obviously traded for Sauce Gardner. I would think cornerback, probably one of the easier positions on a short week to adapt to, right? Hey, cover this guy, right? Probably going to cover Drake London. Do we do it again, folks? Let me ask you, do we do it again? For a third week in a row, do we go back to the Darnell Mooney well? He's a guy I've always liked. Kind of gets dinged up a little bit, but I think he's a good number 2 receiver. And 2 weeks in a row, we've tried to get him 50 yards or more receiving, and we've had some big-time duds. But don't you think Sauce Gardner is going to be covering Drake London after Drake London just went berserk for 3 touchdowns against the Pats? I got to think they do. And if they take him away, doesn't that mean 4, 5, 6 targets for Mooney? And Mooney is a guy that, kind of a big play threat, a downfield target, likes to go deep. I think so. I also think Bijan Robinson bounces back. And I think the Colts got exposed a little bit. Now, the Steelers came in fired up. And coming off back-to-back losses, Mike Tomlin at home, we love that game. We told you they were going to come out fired up. They did. That defense woke up. They had to hear for the previous few weeks how bad they were, and they woke up in a big way. Let's see what we got. We might do it for fun. I think we ought. It's one of those things. Hey, it's paying plus money. Why not do it again for fun? And I bet you the numbers are way down. Yeah, Darnell Mooney's down to 33.5 over under. To get to 50, what do we get? Come on. We get plus 210. We get plus 210, folks. Come on. We doing it? We're doing it. Darnell Mooney plus 210 to get to 50 yards receiving. Sauce Gardner's covering Drake London. The Colts secondary is bad, which is why they made the trade. Right? They overpaid 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner because their secondary is a sieve. And they think, and rightfully so, they've been playing great ball. They have a chance, right? They have a chance to win the division, have a chance to make the playoffs, have a chance to make a run. You make those plays. You roll the dice. And Sauce Gardner's great. Don't get me wrong. But isn't he going to be on Drake London? I think so. Let's go Darnell Mooney. 50 yards receiving. We love it. Let's go Darnell Mooney. Get in there. Okay. Now, I think Bijan Robinson has had 2 slow weeks in a row. I think he bounces back. 71.5 is his number. I know that's high. His total number, let's see what his total number is. Rushing and his receiving combined. Got to be 120. Yeah, 120.5. Nailed it. I'll stay away, but I think Bijan has a game. I think the Falcons give him a game. It's on grass again. Maybe slow Jonathan Taylor down. That Falcons defense is pretty good. Pretty good. I like that Falcons defense. I think they're an underrated team, and they got a great pass rush. I think they're number 2 or 3 in the NFL in sacks. So they could get that pressure. And what does Daniel Jones struggle the most with? I know very well as a Giants fan. What does Daniel Jones struggle with? He struggles very much so with pass rush in his face. I mean, obviously every quarterback, but Daniel Jones even more so than most does not like the pass rush. Here's what I like. I like over 48 points. I think both these offenses can score. I think there's dynamic players everywhere. Pittman, Downs, Alec Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, two teams that like to throw, two teams that like to run. And I think the NFL, in a way, going to Berlin, they want to put on a show. They don't want to go over there and have the game be 17-13 or 13-10. They want some points. I think they want to put on a show. I think they're going to allow these guys to play. I think you're going to see maybe maybe a few more penalties on the defenses, trying to promote some scoring. And I'm not trying to say things are rigged. It's just a gut feeling I got. I got a feeling they want to put on a show when they go over. Remember a while back, not many years, sorry. I think it was last year. Was it last year? 2 years ago? When they had the game in Brazil. It was like 90 points in that game. And they were just up and down and up and down. I think they want to promote that. I think when they go to some of these countries that don't get a football game very often, they don't want 13-10. They don't want 17-13. So there you have it. I'm giving you an early Dustino play. Reason why, we got to get that in early. It's a 9:30 in the morning game. So let me make sure that I'm still accurate on my line. And I am. It's 6.5 and 48. I think if it gets to 7, I might even put something in on the Falcons. I think if it goes 7, I'm taking Falcons. We're taking the over 48 points. Falcons, Colts. I usually give my plays at the end. I'm giving it to you early. Falcons, Colts, over 48. What do you think? You agree? You disagree? Got any reasoning? Throw it in the chat. As far as from a fantasy perspective, you're starting all the usual suspects. Now, with all these injuries, Darnell Mooney, we're taking his over, plus 210. I think that's a live play, and I think you can play him in a flex if you need it. All the other suspects, you're playing Bijan, Drake London, even though Sauce on him. Drake London. You know what I'm seeing with Drake London? I think he's Mike Evans part 2. 6'4", tall, jump ball guy, former basketball player, can box you out. You get down in the red zone. You just throw it up. Everybody knows it's coming to him, and you still can't stop it. I'm getting Mike Evans vibes. What do you think? I mean, he almost is like a spitting image of Evans. Not like insane after the catch type of guy. And I made a big trade for Mike Evans. I gave up 2 first-round picks in Dynasty, which first-round picks are kind of gold. But I have a team that's 6-3, and I want to go for it in Dynasty. I gave up 2 early picks, too. They're early. One of them's for sure top 4. The other one's probably top 7. It's probably the 5, 6, or the 7. So I went all in. I love Drake London. I think he's going to last. I think his game is going to translate and last a while. Again, just for the fact of the height, that he doesn't rely on just pure speed or just pure route running. He's a jump ball guy. He's a box out guy, uses that 6'4" frame. I see Mike Evans. I see Mike Evans part 2. So there's your Falcons-Colts game. The Colts and the Falcons. I don't know why I did that. That was for OE. All right, next game, 1 p.m. We move into the 1 o'clock window. Browns at the Jets. Browns favored by 2. Jets have not named a starting quarterback. Give me a break. Come on. It's Justin Fields. What? Aaron Glenn, come on. Can you earn the right to act like a Belichick or act like Dan Campbell or act like you're something and stop being a wise ass? Pardon my French. Telling the media, I haven't made it. After the guy just played the game of his life in the comeback against the Bengals, after he was crying in a closet and brought you guys out of the doldrums and gave you your first win, and you're not going to name a starting quarterback? Come on, dude. Give me my God. Read the room. Read the room. Wake up. You got a franchise that's struggling. Just traded everybody away. And you're telling me you're not thinking about playing Justin Fields? Get the hell out of here. Fields is playing. Now, going to be rain. Going to be a little coldy. Going to be a little cold. I think there's some snow possibly in the forecast. Maybe, but I think it's mostly supposed to stay rain on Sunday at 1. Tricky game, 37. It's going to be a lot of running. Both running teams, 2 terrible. You don't know what to make of Fields. And that's the problem with Justin Fields. What you saw him do in the 3rd and 4th quarter is so tantalizing, right? And you're like, oh, my God, maybe. I don't think he really is. But that was nice to see. I'll take him over Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is terrible. We told you that, folks. And now what I think we start to see is, are we on Shedeur Sanders' watch? I think without a shadow of a doubt, I would put money on this. You want to put it in the chat, I'll take it. There is no doubt that we see Shedeur Sanders before the year is over start a couple of games. Minimum A game. I think he's going to – if Gabriel stinks it up again, I don't see why we don't see Shedeur Sanders in the next game. Why not see what you got in the kid? Gabriel is not good. Sorry, just putting it that he's not good, okay? He's Kyler Murray size without the running ability. And Kyler Murray's not that good either. We'll get to him later. So there's you have it on that side. Injury-wise, Harold Phantom was scary because he did not practice on Thursday, but he did practice today, so it looks like he's going to be back. Obviously, you're playing your Quinshon Judkins, especially against the Jets team that just lost their D. Here's the thing with me, okay? Making these trades like they did, Aaron Glenn is not going anywhere, despite me obviously just going off on him. Aaron Glenn's not going anywhere, all right? So these guys that are on the team now have an opportunity to show themselves, right? To show what they could possibly do. Sorry, I'm just looking up the going to this basketball game, see how we stand. Hey, Oakland's hanging. Oakland's hanging. It's 10-7 Purdue, 5 minutes into the ball game. Oakland's hanging, so we're looking good there. Anyhow, these guys want to prove that they belong on a roster, right? They're playing for Aaron Glenn. They're playing for a roster spot, okay? Other side of the ball, Stefanski for the Browns, he's kind of on the hot seat. What are the Browns really playing for? And their defense, which I thought was a really good defense, has been night and day road versus home. Night and day. Jets still have Breece Hall. They're getting Garrett Wilson back this week. They add in Adonai Mitchell. There's a guy to keep an eye on, maybe stash, okay? Adonai Mitchell is a guy that I absolutely love. I wanted the Giants to get him. Go give a 4th or 5th round pick. Turns out he was a throw-in the Sauce Gardner trade. Are you kidding me, Giants? And you couldn't go get him for a 4th or 5th or 6th rounder maybe they would have taken? Unbelievable. I think the guy's ultra talented. I would not be surprised next year you see Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell be a pretty damn good tandem with that kid Mason Taylor at tight end, and they kept Breece Hall. Apparently they wanted to get a 3rd round pick for him, and the Chiefs were only offering a 4th. Hey, good for the Jets, though, holding out. Good for the Jets, though, holding out. Give up a 3rd round pick, especially it's going to be late with the Chiefs being good. I don't blame them. Breece Hall's a heck of a player. You like those 2 running backs. You can't really – maybe you can start the tight ends for the Browns, Njoku or Fannin. I have a lot of Jerry Jeudy. I thought we were going to have Joe Flacco. I thought we might get Shedeur, who can both throw the ball. I have a lot of Jerry Jeudy, and those are in the tank. Those Jeudy stocks have crashed. Now, they could come back in an instant. Shedeur Sanders, who we know can throw the ball, who I believe can throw the ball. Shouldn't say we know. I believe he can throw the ball. Certainly better than Gabriel. Jeudy could be a late season guy that goes nuts all of a sudden out of nowhere. You know, like late in the season when other teams are quitting and this, that, the other. That could be one where he just goes off if him and Sanders have a connection late in the year. So there you have it. There's my thoughts. I'm leaning Jets. 2 bad teams. Take the points. Right? You got 2 bad teams. Why not just take the points? That's the way I feel about it. Dylan Gabriel's not good enough to be favored over anybody. Not saying Justin Fields is unbelievable, but I do think there's an overreaction to the Jets trading Sauce and trading the defensive tackle. There's an overreaction, so you're getting a couple points there. And then those guys want to step up. And if Aaron Glenn was a dead man walking, which I don't believe he's a dead man walking, okay? If he were dead man walking and he were going to get fired, I'm staying away from this game completely. But I think the guys on the Jets still want to play because I believe they know Aaron Glenn's there and they want to get a job for next year. They want to secure a spot, and they're getting an opportunity. And a lot of times we talk about it with backup quarterbacks. The first game of backup quarterbacks in, you take that team a lot of times because you can do it in a 1-game sample. Everybody's fired up. Everybody elevates their game just a little bit. You see it in basketball. Superstars out. The team does pretty good. Usually everybody wants to bet against that team. I go with them. Usually everybody can step up for a game, maybe 2. After that, they'll come back down to earth. So that's my thoughts on that ball game in particular as we move forward. That was, where were we? Jets. Okay. Patriots at the Bucks right here in my backyard. Tampa Bay favored by 2.5. Pats at Bucks. Bucks coming off a bye week, but they didn't get any healthier. Godwin's still out. Mike Evans going to be out. Maybe playoffs. Maybe last week of the season. Bucky Irvin's not helping. Patriots lose Kayshon Boutte. They go no Ramondre Stevenson again. So fire up Travion Henderson. And it was nice to see Travion Henderson get the ball and look a little bit better. Big Travion Henderson guy. He was my number 2 back after Genti. Hasn't looked that way so far. But I like Travion Henderson. It's going to be an interesting game because the Bucs can stop the run. Oh, boy, 48.5. It's supposed to be beautiful weather on Sunday. Absolutely gorgeous here in Tampa. That's a tough game for me. As far as the injuries, a couple guys you can look at on the Bucs. Emeka Egbuka healthy. Obviously, he's been a find as a rookie. Keep an eye on Tez Johnson. If you need somebody for your flex or a third wide receiver, you lose Tet McMillan, you lose somebody. Tez Johnson, little tiny receiver, but he looks like he can play. You know, sometimes you get these 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" receivers, and you can tell right away they're going to make it. They play bigger than they are, or they're just way too small. He looks like he plays a little bigger than he is. His route running is incredible. And I think he's a guy you could play. You could throw in there Cade Otton, nice play at tight end. Rashad White obviously will be the main guy without Bucky Irving. But Patriots stuff the run. And they just got done stuffing Bijan Robinson. And they've stuffed everybody. And I still don't think they've allowed a 50-yard rusher. Bijan might have got the 50 last week, but if he did, he barely got there. And it took him a boatload of carries. Let me see. Bijan Robinson. I'm going to take a quick peek here, folks, as we get in here and have a sip. Yeah, 46 yards. Didn't get the 50. So Bijan Robinson's had 3 weeks in a row, 40, 25, and 46 rushing yards. Now, he's been keeping you afloat fantasy-wise because of all the receptions. But he has not had a breakout, and the Pats' run defense has been very sneaky. I don't know. Godfather, John DeBellino, what do you think? You're the Pats guy. I don't have a great feel for this ball game. I lean maybe if it was 3, I'd be taking the Pats and the points. I think this is going to be one of those close ball games. The Bucs play a ton of close games. Pats kind of play some close games too. I don't know. Demario Douglas, great guy to play. Stephon Diggs, you can play. We love the tight ends for Hunter Henry for the Pats. You can play Travion Henderson. If you're in a real jam, you can probably play Terrell Jennings because he looks to be the short yardage guy. They want to use Travion on outside runs and screens and passes, but not necessarily as much when it comes to in tough. You saw Terrell Jennings sort of vulture the touchdown. He's a more big physical back. He may be the goal line guy, so you can pray for a touchdown there with him. If we look at, a couple of prop bets that you might want to look at, the aforementioned Tez Johnson here. Let's see what Tez Johnson is. Tez Johnson receiving. I'd love to see it in the 40s. 46.5. All right. I like it. Don't love it. Now, interesting one. Demario Douglas coming off a monster game is only 36.5, and there's no Kayshon Boutte. So it's really Demario and Diggs. And if Tampa has a weakness, it's the secondary. Their run defense is really good. Their secondary is a little weak. It's going to be beautiful weather. So that's one that you might want to look at. To get the 50 yards, Demario Douglas is plus 165. That one's kind of interesting. I think Travion Henderson, before I look, I think he's going to catch 3 to 4 balls, maybe more. He is at 3.5, but it's plus 110. So that might not be a bad play. Plus 110, Travion Henderson, 3.5 catches. Get the ball out quick. Utilize him on the outside. So that's kind of my thoughts on that game. If it were 3, I would take it. I think it's kind of properly priced. I'm a little worried. I see both sides of the coin. I guess gun to my head, maybe I'd tease up the Pats, but we'll let you know if that becomes an official play. Okay. Jaguars and the Texans. Forgot to mention on my outs list, CJ Stroud was out, but I think everybody kind of knew that with that really, really nasty concussion he got. All right. On to the Jaguars at the Texans. Now, I had the Raiders last week, plus 2.5 against the Jags. And I watched almost that whole game because here's the story. The 4 o'clock window last week had 3 games. Rams and Saints. Rams were absolutely pummeling them. The game couldn't have been more boring. You had the Chiefs and the Bills, obviously the marquee game. And you had this game, which ended up being a pretty good game. Or, the Jags and the Raiders, which ended up being pretty good. I had those both up on my screen. So those are the 2 games that I was toggling back and forth between. Actually, I had the split screen going. I got the YouTube TV split screen. So I saw a lot of the Jags. They look terrible. The Raiders, just like they did last night, should have had that game won 4 times. They kind of gave that game back to the Jags. I think the Jags are one of the more phony. Aren't they like 5-3 maybe? Or maybe even better than that? Let me see what the Jags record is. I think they're in that neighborhood. Maybe even 6-3. 5-3. I think it's phony. Their point differential's -8. I think it's completely phony. Now they lose Brian Thomas. They got Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers, who are good players. Don't get me wrong. Trevor Lawrence, okay. This Texans defense is really good. I know we got Davis Mills. I think this game should be Houston -3. I think it's Houston -3, 3.5 if Stroud is playing. Davis Mills, I'm not going to try to act like he's great, but there was a moment in time that the Texans were letting him play before they got CJ Stroud and seeing if they thought he could be their franchise quarterback. And he proved to not be the guy. He proved to me not good enough. But I think he's one of the better backups in the NFL, or at least a competent backup. So I think we're getting a little bit of line value on Houston. I also like the over a little bit. I think guys step up for the Texans. Nico Collins, I think, is going to get peppered with targets. They're healthy. Chubb is playing. Woody Marks is playing. The rookie Knowles playing. You have Christian Kirk playing. You have Jaden Higgins playing. Dalton Schultz. I just think it's a better roster. I think the Texans are a better roster. I think they're a little more motivated than the Jags. Jags coming off a win on the road. They got to go on the road again against a really tough defense. I'm leaning Texans. If you have Texans, obviously you're playing Nico. You're obviously the running backs, Chubb and Marks. Are you really great about either one? I guess you're a little more fired up about Marks, maybe a little more juice, although Chubb could be the guy that gets in the end zone. But I'm telling you, I watched almost that whole Raiders-Jags game. I think it was a phony win for the Jags. I think the Texans are a solid team, and they're a hungry team, and they're a motivated team at home. This is a big, big game for them. Big game for both teams. But I think it's even bigger for Houston at 3-5 to stay in the playoffs. I like the motivated Texans. We'll see if it makes my final cut of picks. All right. Dolphins. Bills at Dolphins. Buffalo -9 on the road. Let me make sure that line is still accurate. And we don't like any of in the Jags Texans game. I don't want to. I learned my lesson from Geno Smith. I'm not getting involved in any of these props where I got to deal with a quarterback that's not that good because you just don't know what you're going to get. You want to take rushing, but I don't see it there either. I just think that's kind of a gross game for fantasy. Buffalo and Miami. All right. 9 points over under 50, so we're correct on all that. I don't love this game. Something about coming off a big win, then going to South Beach and all the distractions and beaches and models and nightlife and Mr. 305, Pitbull, makes me always a bit nervous. I always got nervous when the Pats went down there as a big favorite. Get nervous when the Bills go down there as a big favorite as well. Don't love this game. James Cook is playing. There was a scare early in the week. He is playing, so he's in. He was not listed on the injury report that we gave you earlier. So he's playing. Khalil Shakir, you can play. Dalton Kincaid's having a monster year. He's having a real breakout year as long as he stays healthy. He's the only one you really trust other than him and Shakir. Keon Coleman, if you need some pure luck, pretty disappointing second season for Keon Coleman. You were hoping to see a step up. You were hoping to see some growth, some more targets, becoming maybe the alpha. Hasn't happened. Guy just doesn't get open. So he's not getting open. And then he doesn't seem to have a great feel when Josh Allen's scrambling around, right? You see him find Kincaid. You see him find Shakir. They seem to work their way back to the ball. Coleman doesn't seem to have that knack for working himself back to the ball or whatever and becoming a Josh Allen favorite target. So very disappointing from him. Other than that, that's pretty much all. Is it crazy? It was a team that scores so much. I mean, it's Allen, Kincaid, Cook, and Shakir is really your favorite you want to play. Dolphins, hot mess. How that guy has the job, I don't know. We had the Ravens in a teaser last week. We told you their win was phony. Their win was completely phony against the Falcons. They stink. He's a dead man walking, the coach. They fired the GM, threw him under the bus, and then they didn't make any trades. They didn't really get rid of anybody. What are you doing? The Dolphins are a disaster. Absolute disaster. Obviously, you got to play your big guys. You're playing Waddle. You're playing A-Chain. You're playing Tua. And if you're in a 2-quarterback league, I guess you kind of have to with the bye weeks. As you can see on the bottom ticker, we got Chiefs, Bengals, Cowboys, and Titans on a bye. So some marquee players, right? George Pickens, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You're losing Pat Mahomes and that whole crew. So some pretty significant teams on bye. So I guess Dolphins, Malik Washington is a guy to watch. If you need some extra help, maybe you need a dart throw flex. You got injuries and bye weeks and you're screwed. Malik Washington's been getting some targets for the Dolphins. I think he's a nice little player. Not a big play guy, but a volume. I could see 5 catches for 30 or 5 for 40 if you play in PPR. That could help you out and get you through some bye week and some injury problems. I don't love this game. Oh, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Do we ride together here on the Weekend Update with Dustino? Look at this. Ken Rock. Oakland Grizzlies. Plus, what was the Oakland Grizzlies money line? They don't give a money line, 31.5. Oakland up 18-17. The live line is down to 21.5. So this is where, as Ken alluded to earlier, why the live betting so wild and why there's so many advantages. Think about this. And I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be perfectly transparent. I have $50 on this game. I have $50 on Oakland. Okay. So it's 50 to win 95, 45. So 95 take home, right? So 50 to win 45. But you go right now and you bet Purdue minus 21.5 for the same thing, $50 to win 45. And guess what? If Purdue wins by 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, we've got 9 numbers. 9. Oh, and 31. And 31, we got 10 numbers. We win both. And you're risking what, $5, right? Because you lose the vig. That's where the live betting's big. Nice job, Ken. Thanks for keeping us posted on that. Let's go, baby. And don't forget, UCF and Houston over 47.5. That was the other play we had live on the show prior to 7 o'clock. We gave that. Oakland Grizzlies told you they got a bunch of scenes. Hey, game's far from over. I'm getting 31.5, and we're 18-17, and we got to be what? Almost midway through the first half. Hell to the yeah. Nice job. Thanks, Ken. Keep us posted on that. Let's get back to the football. All right. Giants Bears. We got this question earlier from the Godfather. John DePolino wanted to know. I take the points. Do I love it? No. Why? I question the Giants' motivation a little. They were certainly super deflated. Losing Scadaboo. I mean, they already lost Neighbors. That was tough to deal with. Now you lose Scadaboo, your heart and soul, your team. Very difficult. Very difficult to overcome. Very difficult to get fired up. And now you got wind, snow, rain. It's going to be fun to watch from a fan perspective while I'm sitting here in Florida in 70-degree weather in my shorts in the garage. That'll be fun to watch while they're dealing with the snow. No thank you. And the cold and the rain and the wind. But I don't know. I'm staying away. Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary kind of split the work. Singletary actually outperformed Tracy. Let's give Tracy one more week. It's going to be a lot of running with all this rain and wind and snow. You can play Theo Johnson, the tight end. He gets targets. I don't think he's very good, but he drops passes left and right. God, he dropped some huge passes against the 49ers. I talked with my guy TJ from Prop Stars about that. God, that was frustrating. And then Darius Slayton, I guess, but he'll make a couple of good plays and he drops. And there's a reason none of these guys are number ones. And they don't go out and get an Adonai Mitchell and see what you can get out of them. Drives me nuts. God, it drives me nuts. If he goes berserk and becomes like a really great wide receiver for the Jets, I'm going to be so pissed off. My God, am I going to be pissed. Abby, you got to have me on the rant show if Adonai Mitchell turns out to be awesome. Because I got to rant about that one when you could have had the guy for peanuts. He was a throw-in for criminy sakes. Anyhow, DeAndre Swift is supposed to play. And here's the big thing. The coach said he's going to play the hot hand. Oh, we hate hearing that in fantasy, right? Because you don't know which guy each week. Swift's had a good year, but that Manan guy looked unbelievable last week. Unbelievable week for Monangai against the Bengals. Again, take it with a grain of salt, though. That's one of those ones that, remember when Caleb had that unbelievable game against the Cowboys and everybody was glazing him and how good he was and pumping him up? Calm down. There's a couple of defenses that you just fire your guys up. The Cowboys, the Bengals, really the Bears too, but I just don't think the Giants have the personnel to take advantage. It's going to be one of those crazy games. It's going to be one of those games whoever a tip ball interception goes to or can't hold on to the ball and fumbles it, a sack, strip fumble. That's not something I want to put my coin on. Over under 48 and a half, that can't be. Is that still the over under? With all that rain and wind and snow, that seems like, if anything, that seems like the play to me. Yeah, Oakland's up 23-22 with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Pretty good, folks. Pretty damn good. But anyhow, let's get back to this over-under. 47, so it's gone down. So I put – and see these numbers that are on the screen? I manually type those in. You know, those are called banners that I put up so we could talk about the game. You can see what's on the screen. I did that 20 minutes before the show, so it's gone down 1.5 just recently. So Roma Dunze's playing, DJ Moore's playing, Luther Burden's back, all those guys. Loveland had a nice game. But again, the Bengals, everybody's having a nice game against the Bengals. I think I could catch a handful of passes, okay? So take it with a grain of salt. And if here's what I would say. If you're in a coin flip and you've got Hunter Henry for the Pats or you've got Colston Loveland, go with Hunter Henry. This weather could just be miserable, and it could take all the things away. I wonder why, if you watch me, sometimes my lights flash higher or lower. I wonder why that is. I don't understand that. I noticed that watching my playbacks a couple times. There'll be flashing lights. Anyhow, whatever. But if you're in a coin flip, Roma Dunze, right? If you've got, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a guy that'd be relevant here. Stephon Diggs or Roma Dunze. I might lean Stephon Diggs playing in 70-degree perfect weather versus crazy wind and snow and yada, yada, yada. So that's the way I would play that. If I have better options, I'm playing them. Obviously, if you have to, you have to. I'm not touching any props there. Too much variable. Sorry, maybe not what you want to hear. I'm not touching any of the props with this rain and wind and snow and sleet and blah, blah, blah. Not touching. All right, big game. Ravens at the Vikings, one of our big winners last week. We gave you the Vikings +9 against the Lions. They win the game. Listen, and again, I pray that you don't think I'm on here bragging, and it's not the brag. But I do have to say, if you've been watching, we've given out a ton of – I lean towards under. I bet you my percentage of that 31-22 record is – I mean, there's a couple over-unders in there, not many, a couple teasers, but – I would say, so that means maybe, let's say 45 games that were not teaser, not totals. I bet you 35 at minimum of the picks have been underdogs. I lean underdogs. I go underdogs a lot. So many of them have won the game. Steelers won the game. Raiders almost won the game. Vikings won the game. Falcons almost won the game. I can't tell you how many underdogs we've had win the game. It's been crazy, crazy. So that was one we gave you. J.J. McCarthy, kind of a winner. They got after the quarterback. Goff didn't deal well with the pass rush. They couldn't figure out how to deal with the pass rush. And there you have it. We had the Vikings. Now, we gave you the stat. A few weeks ago. And it was Lamar Jackson against the NFC. And it's something stupid. 23-5 straight up, something along those lines. It's some absurd number for Lamar Jackson when he plays the NFC. Why? Because they don't see him very often. Well, guess what? Brian Flores has seen him. And Brian Flores, with his crazy blitz packages and all that, has made him look a little silly. A couple years ago, as the coach of the Dolphins, blitz crazy, and they pulled off a huge upset over the Ravens. It was a Thursday night football game, and they upset them, and Lamar looked terrible at defense. So, I don't know. Another home dog for Dustino? I'm leaning that way. We'll see if it makes the final cut. We're leaning that way. Aaron Jones, I told you my gut feeling is that he does not play. So Jordan Mason is a nice play. He's been struggling a little bit, but he's a nice play against a Ravens D that's played better, but I still don't think they're an out-of-this-world top echelon defense. Obviously, they were a terrible defense for a while. They've gotten better. They've gotten a little healthier. McCarthy didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he looked good. He ran the offense, blah, blah. I don't know if the yardage outputs are going to be incredible. It'll be interesting to see if he has to play from behind ever or get into a shootout game. 49 is pretty high over under. I don't know if he'll get there with a shootout, but it'll be interesting to see if McCarthy has to be forced to throw the ball. He wasn't forced to throw against the Lions because they got ahead pretty early, right? They got ahead pretty quickly in that game. Obviously, you play Justin Jefferson, you play Addison. Man, TJ Hawkinson, talk about a fall from grace. Woo, he can't do anything. He's not doing much for fantasy. He's really, really been kind of a dud. Certainly a guy that in dynasty leagues has lost a lot of luster. So, yeah, TJ Hawkinson, I guess if you have him, you play him unless you got better options. But I got to tell you, I'm playing Hunter Henry over him. I'm playing Cade Otton over him. I'm playing Kincaid, obviously, clearly. Probably Dalton Schultz. I mean, I'm probably playing a lot of tight ends over him. On the Ravens side of the ball, King Henry, you're playing. You hope that he can do something against this Vikings defense. That guy has been getting gashed, but they really stepped up to the plate against the Lions, but they stuffed Jahmyr Gibbs. You got to play Derrick Henry if you have him. Zay Flowers you like, I guess, Andrews. You're hoping for a touchdown there. Rashad Bateman if you really are desperate. That's pretty much it there from a fantasy standpoint. And that ball game, leaning a little Vikings. Spoiler, and 49 is a high over under. We'll let you know. All right, next game. Saints, Panthers. Saints, was it Denny Green? Do I have to punch the podium? They are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. Am I getting it right? Yeah, they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. Saints, I told you at the beginning of the year, one of my first shows, I think they're the worst team in the NFL. Not even close. Worst team in the NFL. And it's happening now. They put up a little fight. They're looking at the offseason, man. They're making vacation plans. They're getting their golf clubs dusted off. They're phoning it in. Kamara's going to play, but he's been questionable all week. They trade Rashid Shaheed. Where did he go? Oh, my God. Trying to blank here. Rashid Shaheed got traded. Oh, Seahawks. Seahawks? Yeah, pretty sure Seahawks. So Rashid Shaheed out. Now it's all Olave. Devon Vele. There's a guy. There's a name. I was questioning, I don't know, for weeks. They traded a 4th-round pick to the Broncos to get this guy, and he barely was seeing the field. Why would you trade a 4th-rounder and not use the guy? Well, Shaheed's gone. This guy's got to get some run. Brandon Cooks, blast from the past. Brandon Cooks. He'll be in the game. They'll be trailing. This Tyler Shuck does not look very good. The Saints were putting up a fight. Their defense is at least hanging. But here's the thing. If you're a defensive player on the team, you're fighting. The offense is giving you nothing. And at some point, some business decisions start getting made. Am I going to go the extra mile? Am I going to chase that play down? Am I going to, do the extra mile to fight off this block and to do this? I don't think so. I think they're starting to check out. I think it's come. A valiant effort early in the year. I think the Saints are packing it in. I think they're cooked. Juwan Johnson, the tight end, if you had to. Kamara, you don't even want to play Kamara. And the Panthers are unbelievable at home. Panthers undefeated at home and big win against the Packers. Now, you know that I get real nervous about a team coming off a big win, right? Taking them the very next week. But I think that was a big win, and I think because they were home. Now, if the Panthers were on the road, that would be probably a spot I wouldn't love them. But I think at home, where I believe they're 4-0, I'm leaning Panthers. I think they're a sneaky play if you're in those survivor pools too, taking the Panthers. Rico Dowdle is playing. Now, the Tet McMillan thing's interesting. Tet McMillan does not sound good. Let me give you the exact quote, okay, because it was kind of an ominous quote from the coach. Tet McMillan, and it stinks because I have a lot of Tet McMillan dynasty and redraft. I just really liked it. Limited practice Friday with a hamstring, and Dave Canales, the head coach, is very concerned as this is something that popped up late in Friday's practice. That's not good. So be very careful. Now, you're in a pinch. You have injuries. You have bye weeks. Xavier Legette becomes the number one. Okay? Rest of the depth chart is Jalen Coker, Jimmy Horn. They'll probably bring up Hunter Renfrow from the practice squad. The tight ends are Jatavian Sanders and whatever. But the long story short, and everything that I read from seeing this, is fire up Rico Dowdle. And Rico Dowdle, we told you a couple weeks ago, is basically a league winner. He is going absolutely berserk. He practiced in full. He's going to play. I wonder what his over-under is. It's got to be close to 80 yards. He has been just absolutely, no injury status. Rico Dowdle's 100% full, good to go. Let's take a quick peek. His over-unders, it's got to be in the 80s. Looks like we got some comments coming through. Somebody named Mello. Trey Harris, wide receiver, one of the NFL. Well, I don't know. We'll see about that. Seattle, Brandon Cooks. Yeah, over for Cooks is a lock. Hey, let's look at it, Mello. Thanks for joining the show, by the way, Mello. Like and subscribe. Hey, stay active in the chat, man. Appreciate you being in here. Let's take a look. I'll take a look at that with you, Mello. We're checking right now. We're checking Rico Dowdle. We're checking Rico Dowdle's over under rushing. I'm guessing it's got to be around 80. And if it's not, that's insane. 89.5. Holy mackerel. Oh, my God. Can't say I blame him. The guy has just been absolutely churning it out. I think they run a lot. So, Mello, new guy in the channel, new guy in the chat, welcome. He wants to know, what do we got? And I did mention Brandon Cooks. 18.5 receiving yards? Mello, you're an animal. You're onto something. But if you watch the channel, you know we do alternatives, because we're trying to get a better number. Oh, they don't have any alternatives? Oh, no, they do. Brandon Cooks, 25 receiving yards, pays plus 135. I'm riding with it. Mello, I'm in. Right now, while we're on screen, I'm putting 50 on it. And I don't know how you do that. I usually put 25. I'm usually at 20, 25 on these props. I'm going with you, Mello. I like it, man. It's Brandon Cooks. It's Olave, and it's Devon Vele, okay? And I guess the tight end, Juwan Johnson. And they're going to be trailing from behind, I think. They're going to have to throw the ball, and they got to throw the ball to somebody. 20, 25 yards. I mean, I got one catch for Brandon Cooks. I think everywhere he's been, he could play. Remember, he had a long streak of 1,000 yards. You know, he didn't get to Mike Evans status, but he had a nice little streak going for a while. Got somebody else, Don Pulverizer. Welcome, Don. Decent Eddie. I don't know who Decent Eddie is, but hey, thanks for coming in, man. Whatever. Decent Eddie, thanks for inviting people in. I don't know who you are, but that's cool. We'll see if this makes my final cut. As you can already probably tell by just the way we're talking, that I think the Saints are a dead team walking, and that I think the Panthers are very live. They're sneaky playing your survivor pools. And I think Dowdle just gets a million carries. I don't think I can take over 89.5 because that's just crazy. You know, they're blowing them up by 20 and then they go to Hubbard. I don't know. You know, that's a high number. Trying to get somebody to go to 100. All right. Now we're cruising, baby. We're on to the 4:00 games. Cardinals at the Seahawks. How about those Seahawks? Woo! How about those Seahawks on Monday Night Football blowing out, or was it Monday night? No, Sunday Night Football. Blowing out the Commanders. Boy, what a coming out party on national TV. That defense was unreal. Sam Darnold looks incredible. And now I'm going to give you two things. Never been a Sam Darnold. Now, I was a Sam Darnold before the draft. If you remember that year, is that the year that I think it's the year the Giants took Saquon. I wanted the Giants to take Darnold. We needed a quarterback at the time. And we ended up taking Barkley. And we had junk, and then the next year we get Daniel Jones, whatever. I wanted Darnold because I just don't think you take a running back 2 overall. And that proved to be kind of true. Okay, now he did get a Super Bowl with the Eagles, but they're a great team. You don't rebuild around a running back. So that to me was stupid. I liked Darnold. Then his first few years with the Jets, he looked like a deer in the headlights. He was lost. He's resurrected his career. So now he's back to kind of the guy I thought he could be. I thought he was a precision passer, great arm, all that stuff. And now it's come. And it just took time. Just like Baker Mayfield, it took time. All right? Some of these guys, we're just so spoiled by these guys that come in right away and do it. They need some time and some loving and a system around them. Good coach, good OC, some weapons. Now, we told you earlier, Torrey Horton looks like he is not going to play. But Cooper Kupp comes right back. Rashid Shaheed, who they acquire in a trade. Interesting guys to play. These are two teams kind of on the rise because the Cardinals looked unbelievable against the Cowboys. And how about the Cardinals defense against a high-powered Cowboys offense that's really good at home? I told you, we were on the Cowboys. We lost that game. We were on the Cowboys because they're a totally different team at home on the turf, right? Dak is completely different at home. And the Cardinals really, really stifled them. So this is an interesting game. And you get Jacoby Brissett. Kyler Murray, are his days numbered? And he now went on the IR. So he's out 4 games. So if you had Kyler Murray, so long. I hope you had Jacoby Brissett if you're in a 2-quarterback league or a superflex league. I hope you had Jacoby Brissett because Kyler Murray, has he played his last down for the Cardinals? What's his contract? Anybody got Kyler Murray's contract? But I'll tell you, his days are numbered. I've never been a Kyler guy. Fine for fantasy. He's a fantasy quarterback, but I've said for years, you're never winning a championship with Kyler Murray. And I still believe that. It's just, he doesn't have it. Talent, sure. Smarts, the grind, the willingness to probably grind tape. You know the infamous story of him not reading the playbooks and playing Call of Duty and things of that instead. It's ugly. Let's see. And you have, obviously, Marvin Harrison's having kind of a breakout season. So Marvin Harrison, you're playing McBride, even against this tough Seahawks defense. Running back was weird. Trey Benson's still out. His practice window's open, but they have not been practicing him. Or he has not been practicing. Let's see. Contract for Kyler Murray. Let's see. What do we got? He signed a 5-year deal in 2022. Oh, boy. Do they have any outs? Oh, he's all the way through 2028. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think he's going anywhere unless they trade him somewhere. Cash, 5-year deal. Do we have any team options? He's stuck. You're stuck, guys. I think they could opt out after 27. Yeah, they get opt out after 27, and they're going to owe him all kinds of money. What a nightmare. That's a nightmare. If you get it wrong and you pay the wrong guy, you're in big trouble because that's going to be a hard contract to dump. Now, the Cardinals' running game was interesting because we thought it was Bam Knight. First, we thought it was Michael Carter. Then we thought it was Bam Knight. Or actually, hold on. First, we thought it was DeMercado. And then he had that fumble at the end zone, the infamous game against the Titans where the Titans came back and won when he let go of the ball before he went in the end zone. Then it was Michael Carter. Then it was Bam Knight. Then this past week, it's back to DeMercado. So good luck guessing those guys. Your guess is as good as mine. Good luck. But if you have any of them, I think Bam Knight has a shot at end zone because he's more of the power back. But DeMercado got a bunch of run last week. I think that's how the breakdown was. You're playing Marvin Harrison. You're playing the other guys, the Zay Joneses, the Greg Dortches, those guys, the Michael Wilsons. You're avoiding those pretty much at all costs if you can. Yeah, let me see. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the leading rusher was where the heck are we? My Lord, Dustin. Come on, buddy. Where were the Cardinals? Cardinals Monday night? I thought weren't the Cardinals? Yeah, the Cardinals was the Monday night game. Why is it not showing me that Monday night? Anyhow. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it. Sorry. Yeah, 14 carries for 79 yards. So DeMercado looked like the best back. So good luck guessing that one. Seahawks, it's frustrating, but you're playing Ken Walker. You're playing Charbonnet if you have to. You're hoping for a touchdown with Charbonnet. You're playing Jackson Smith and Jib, but number one receiver in the NFL this year. Him and Chase, right? And in Dynasty, which I play a lot of Dynasty football, I don't know. I'm still taking Chase over him in Dynasty. I think number 2, you make a case for Jackson Smith and Jigba. He looks that damn good. What an unbelievable route runner. Unbelievable. Even after the catch, he's been pretty good, which I didn't think he'd have any of that. He's been able to beat people deep, short, intermediate. He looks, and him and Darnold are, locked in as lockstep as you can get, and a good coach. He's the number one. Maybe Puka, but Puka, I don't think Puka gets hurt a lot. Justin Jefferson's going to be 27, and his quarterback, the jury's out on his quarterback. Malik Neighbors, when healthy, will be up there. I can't wait. Oh, my God, I can't wait till next year. I can't wait to see Dart and Neighbors next year. Oh, my God, I can't wait. Please. It's going to be unbelievable. Must-see TV. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba's the guy. Cooper Kupp, you play. The tight ends, maybe. You can maybe play Shaheed. You're hoping for a long bomb for Shaheed, the new guy in the Seahawks. That's going to be a good game. A very, very intriguing game. Very intriguing game between two teams, I think, that are on the rise. So we'll see if anything makes my cut list there. 45 is the over-under. Two good defenses. Obviously, one that looked unbelievable against the Commanders and one that stifled the Cowboys at home. What are their standings here? Obviously, the Seahawks they're like America's. They're like the NFC darling. And, we're starved in the NFC. Everybody wants to find the team that's going to separate themselves. Arizona's 3-5. Wow, I thought they were better than that. They're better than that, folks. I may not like them here in the Seahawks spot because that's a tough place to go play and all that. But I'll tell you what, they're better. The Cardinals got to be the best 3-5 team out there. They got to be the best 3-5. Them and Houston. Well, I guess Baltimore's 3-5 too. I don't know. The next few weeks are going to determine a lot. But NFC is wide open. And now a lot of people think Seattle. And they look great. I can't blame them. They looked absolutely fantastic in that ball game. So, yeah, I can see it. We'll see if that ends up if anything there makes the list. All right. Ken. Our buddy Ken Rock, who always riding with us. Hopefully he got in on this action. So here we go. What did he say? Oh, it's in the chat here. There you go, folks. 31.5-point underdog is tied at the half. Now, if we lose this one, that'll be epic. Losing the second half by 32. They'd have to lose by more than a point a minute. But if you're joining us late, get in here at 6:30, man. Subscribe to the channel so you get the shorts, all that. That was my pick of the day. College basketball, my first pick of the year. Oakland plus 31.5. They got a bunch of seniors, bunch of fifth-year seniors, team that's played together a bunch, going against the number one team in the country, getting 31.5, and they're tied at halftime, folks. All right. And if you're just getting in here late, over 47.5 in the UCF Houston college football game. That was our other play. All right. Let's get back. We're cruising, baby. We are cooking with gas. We're getting near the end here. All right. What do we got? Let's see. Lions at the Commanders. Obviously, Marcus Mariota. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Lions, Commanders. -8 for Detroit on the road. You got Marcus Mariota. No. Terry McLaurin. We gave you that earlier. Lions are healthy. I think you get a monster game from Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm talking monster game from Gibbs. That Commanders defense is not good. It hasn't been good all year. The hope is gone, I think, with the Commanders. Motivation will be very interesting to see. Obviously, these guys are professionals, but I can't see a ton of motivation coming from the Commanders. They're not good. And now they got no Jaden Daniels, no McLaurin, Debo, shell of himself. Who else you play there? Luke McCaffrey's now out. Interesting guy, I will say. Chris Rodriguez Jr. got in kind of third, fourth quarter last week and looked much, much better than Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, as they call him. So from a fantasy perspective, Chris Rodriguez Jr., I'm in a 14-team redraft league that I am desperate at running back. I am getting absolutely killed at running back. I had a Marion Hampton. I had Trey Benson. I had this guy. I had that guy. They're all hurt. Guess what I'm starting at running back this week? I'm starting Kyle Monangai. It was great last week. That was big. And Chris Rodriguez. It's a deep league. There's nothing on the waivers, and I can't get a trade done to save my life. My team's decent. I'm 10-8. It's one of those leagues where you play a doubleheader every week. So we're 18 games in. Actually, not doubleheader. You play against your opponent, and then you play against the league median. So that, that way, if you're getting screwed on strength of schedule, you still have a chance. I'm playing Chris Rodriguez. I'm hoping he can find the end zone. I'm hoping that based on last week, he gets at least a 50-50 split with Merritt and maybe even more. And then, again, hopefully the goal line. Get in the end zone. Get 30 yards and a touchdown, and I'll count my lucky stars and be happy. But you can't feel good about any Commanders players. You're firing up all your lines. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's the worst game I've seen him have as a pro. That was rough for Jahmyr Gibbs. What was it? And I don't have a ton of Jahmyr Gibbs, but, I mean, let's see. Jahmyr Gibbs. Oof, that was bad. 9 carries, 25 yards. 9 carries, 25 yards. Yikes. 9 carries, 25 yards. I think he goes nuts. See, this is the kind of thing like Dan Campbell. I feel like those guys are like, oh, yeah, you think Gibbs can't? And they're going to feed him. You know, that's just the feeling I get. His total yards has got to be right around Bijan's 120. Got to be. Let's see. But I'm interested in this one. I got to get another high noon here, folks, as we finish up the show because we're on the 425. Let's see. Hang on. Very exciting television or YouTube in here streaming. 71.5 for Gibbs rushing. Okay. Let's see what his total is. 97.5. We got to play, folks. Here we go. Jahmyr Gibbs over 97.5 total yards. Boom. Locking it. I got to write these down. So what do we got? We got Mooney to get the 50. We're going back to the well. We're just going to keep riding that. And that's like plus 185. So we got Darnell Mooney. Obviously, this is in my app, but I want to have it so that way over 49.5. Okay, and that was like plus 165, I think it was. We took Brandon Cooks from Mello to get to 25 yards receiving. And that was what, plus 130? Yep. And now we got Gibbs over 97.5 total yards on a bounce back against a beat-up defense, a team that doesn't care, and a coach that's like, they're those kind of guys. There's certain like Belichick, same thing. Like, oh, Gronkowski didn't get the ball last week. He's going to get peppered this week. All right, there you go. There's our 3 plays so far. And it's only minus 115. There's no alternate on the total yards deal, but I still like it. It's minus 115. I don't do that often. We're taking it. I love Gibbs over 97.5 yards to bounce back. Guy just had maybe not maybe, I think it was the worst game of his career. And he still, with the worst game of his career, had 28 yards. Never mind. He had a bad game. There's no way to slice it. But he's going to get touches, and the guy's incredible. And he's going against soft defense. Very, very soft defense. Let's see. Commanders need to drop the woke name. Listen, I don't know. I hate it. I hate that stuff. Nobody's trying to make fun of Indian people with red skins. It's the name they've had forever. Now, again, I can't admit that I know a bunch of American Indians. I don't. If an American Indian person said that they find that offensive, if there was a team called the something Crackers and we found that, okay. I can't say. I can't say if American Indians find that offensive. If they think it's offensive, then fine. Commanders is fine. But I agree with you. It's silly. I don't think there's an uproar, but world we live in today, if anybody gets offended by something, then we got to change everything. So it is what it is. I'll stay out of it. Lions are probably a decent pick for Survivor, but you never know. Probably a tease. 8's kind of a lot. Backdoor could be open. Marcus Mariota is a capable player. He's got a rushing floor. So if you really, really need a quarterback in a 2-quarterback league or a dynasty league or, whatever, he's fine. He's fine. He can play. But I don't know who you trust receiving. I guess Zach Ertz. I guess Debo if you got to. And then it's going to be Rodriguez and it's going to be Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I think they might start trending toward Rodriguez. He's looked good every time he gets in there. He's a guy I've always liked. I think he's in his 3rd or 4th year out of Kentucky. Decent running back, 6th-round pick. Just like Merritt, late-round pick. But he looks good when he gets out there. Tough physical runner. And he's the goal line guy. So I'm hoping, get in the end zone. Get in the end zone for me, Just like Terrell Jennings for the Pats. You play him, you're hoping he gets in the end zone for you. All right. We'll keep cooking. Can't believe that. I can't believe the Oakland Grizzlies are tied. Like, I like the game, but No way I would have said they're going to be tied at halftime. So, hey, we're cooking, baby. That's why you join the Friday night with Dustino. I'm seeing the hoop, man. It's Michael Jordan against the Blazers. I'm seeing the hoop here. All right, Rams at 49ers. Rams -4.5 on the road in San Francisco. Shanahan and McVay, always a great matchup. Rams fully healthy, nothing going on their side. Everybody's healthy. You're playing all those guys, the main characters. 49ers, same guys injured. Pearsall is out, Purdy's out. Mac Jones will be the quarterback. Kittle's playing. Juwan Jennings is playing. Kendrick Bourne's playing. Maybe go back to the well with Bourne. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's been a few weeks. Maybe go back to Bourne. What do we think, folks? I might need you know what? I need one last high noon. This will be number 3. It's good. Not driving. Here in the fantasy garage. Walk right over to that door, and then we head upstairs. We watch UCF score a ton of points, and we watch the Oakland Grizzlies win as a 31.5-point dog. But we need one more high noon to decide what we're going to do with this ball game. One more. We're not going far, folks. Crack one open yourselves if you got it. Let's see what we got here. All right, yep, we got one more. One more. This will get us going. This high noon here, this is going to give us the wisdom we need. This is going to help the weekend update really make some decisions. All right. You're obviously playing McCaffrey. You're playing Kyron. I was like, I don't think we need to go crazy fantasy-wise. Okay, Kendrick Bourne's outskirts play. Sort of off the beaten path. Here's what I'm going to go with. If we can get Kendrick Bourne to 50, and it's around that plus 200 number, I think we're in. Let's take a quick peek. Let's take a gander. Because I think there's going to be some scoring in this ballgame. I think there's going to be scoring. Let me check the weather here. NFL weather. Good site. NFLweather.com. Random site I found. They're pretty good. Let's see. Make sure we got no crazy weather. I think the real weather game is that Chicago and Bears Giants game. 78 degrees, partly cloudy. Gorgeous weather in San Fran. And then we got a stat. I'm going to look up that Kendrick Bourne, but I got a stat that came into me from one of our subscribers, one of our listeners, a guy named Rob. And what did he give me? He gave me a good stat. All right, hold on. Come on, where is it? All right, here's a trend. He gave me that. And we're a community. We talk. You find something? Let me know. McVay and Shanahan have met 14 times since 2019. The underdog is 13-1 against the spread. Shanahan is 8-0 as a dog against the Rams. Wow. Rob, thank you very much for that. Love it. This is what I wanted to create on Pop Sports Weekend Update. Group of guys, gals, whoever that can chat and find nuggets like that. I find a lot of nuggets. I did not have that nugget. That's unbelievable. Let's see if it makes the final list. I think it might. 4.5 is a good number, too. That's a huge number. It's not 3. It's not 2.5. 4.5. 49ers. Good ball. Good team. Good ball club. Holy mackerel. 13-1 the underdog in this matchup. This meeting of the minds. Shanahan and McVay. And 8-0 for Shanahan. Lock it in. 49ers plus 4.5. Going to Rob. The high noons are talking. We got peach. Delicious. Oh, man, that's good when it's nice and cold. No stomachache either. No bloating. Hey, high noons, you want to support the Dustino, the weekend update? Contact the guys at Pop Sports. We will gladly have you on as a sponsor. All right? Whatever you want. Okay. So we gave you, what was the game we gave you in the beginning? Oh, we took the over. We took the over 48 in the Colts-Falcons game because we think the NFL wants a lot of scoring in that game in Munich. They want scoring. They don't want 13-10. Oh, that's going to get people in Germany fired up for the NFL. No, let them score. Oh, then don't throw the flag on that. Oh, pass interference. Yeah, pass interference. Let's get some scoring. There we go. You heard it here. Hey, Oakland Grizzlies, dude. All right, you questioning me? Oakland Grizzlies. All right, that's all I got to say. That's my two words for everybody. Oakland Grizzlies. All right. Now, we got Niners official play. Thanks to our buddy Rob. Plus 4.5. What a trend. Dude, 8-0, Shanahan. 13-1. The last 14, the underdog. Dude, we are on it. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about from a Pop Sports Network weekend update with Dustino community. Dude, love that. You come up with something, let me know. That's strong. And I like the 49ers to begin with. So that just put me over the edge. All right, now back to Kendrick Bourne. If you remember, I think I've been on the Pop Sports Network now a month and a half, that neighborhood. The first short video that I ever put out was Kendrick Bourne. I can't remember the number, 30-something and a half. All the receivers are injured. Even Juwan Jennings was injured. And we gave you that Mac Jones and Bourne had a history in New England. And that Bourne was live. I forget who they were playing, but it was supposed to be a high over-under. They had nobody else. Kittle was out. Juwan Jennings was out. And I gave you Bourne, and it crushed. And he had like over 100 yards. And I said, take over 50, take over 65, whatever. That was my first one. So Kendrick Bourne is always the Bourne. Oh, my gosh. The Bourne identity is always going to have a soft spot in my heart, okay? It's 5, folks. That line you're seeing on your screen, I did that 20 minutes before we went on air at 6:30. It's 5 now. So we're grading 49ers plus 5. Come on. McCaffrey, all those guys. Kittle's playing. Juwan Jennings is playing. Woo! We love it. I'm not going to say game of the year, but we love it. All right. Receiving. Come on. Let's see. We get to 50 yards, Bourne. He's 33.5. So 50's got to pay good. 50 might be like plus 200. Oh, I don't see it. Oh, yes. Kendrick Bourne, 50 receiving yards, plus 210. We're going back to the guy who started it all. Kendrick Bourne. There we go. We're writing down the props. Bourne, 50 yards receiving. If you don't get these alternates and you can only take the 30 whatever and a half or 33 and a half, sure, do it. Hard Rock, where I'm at, offers these alternates. You take them to go higher even than and it pays big. Plus 210. Let's go. We're going back to the guy who started the whole thing. Rob got me fired up with that crazy stat. We're going back to the well with Kendrick Bourne. All right, moving on. Sunday night football, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were big winners for us over the Colts at the Chargers. Chargers minus 2.5. Let me see if that line is still correct. Some of these lines are changing tonight, man. We got action today. Still 2.5. 45 is the over-under. Sunday night football. Okay. Chargers banged up. Joe Alt, left tackle, out. All the receivers are playing. Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, the rookie tight end you found, Oronde Gaston, who's been unbelievable, absolutely incredible. He's playing. But those Steelers, man, those Steelers found something in their defense, and they were fired up. I think you're going to get a lot of terrible towels in Los Angeles. I think the Chargers already have one of the worst home field advantages. We'll see. Omarion Hampton has been out for a while. I need that guy desperately. I was just telling you about my fantasy team that's got Hampton and Benson out, and I'm starting Chris Rodriguez. He was seen at least running on the sidelines. I think their bye week is week 12. You're not seeing that guy before week 13. No chance. Let me see. I don't think there's any way you see that guy before week 13. Let me check something here. Yeah, their bye week is I think it's week 12. Was I right on that? Yeah, week 12. I think there's no chance you see Hampton until week 13. And what are we, week 10? So you got another 3-4 weeks without him. Kamani Vidal is in there. Jarrett Patterson's in there. You play those guys if you got to. But, man, the Steelers defense woke up. I think they heard a lot of people chattering about how they're the highest paid defense in the NFL and how bad they've been. They stuck it to the Colts, and now you got the Chargers without Joe Alt. That's big news. And they just stuffed Tyler Warren, the all-rookie tight end from the Colts, and they stuffed Jonathan Taylor. Now they face Kamani Vidal, Oronde Gadsden. Do they stuff those guys too? If I think if the Chargers are going to win, Herbert is going to have to play a superhero game. Absolute superhero game if the Chargers are going to win. Steelers side of the ball, you're playing DK Metcalf. The tight ends are a hodgepodge. And now they're throwing to this Dwayne Washington, the 6'7" tight end. He's a behemoth. I thought he might be pretty good when he came out of college, more of a blocker. But now they're throwing to him. So how the hell do you know who they're going to? Between Freiermuth, between Dwayne Washington, between Jonnu Smith. I mean, it's DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's the guy you want to play. Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, you're not playing those guys. Jalen Warren's great. I think he has a decent game. And then obviously Kenny Gainwell is going to get sprinkled in a little bit. But that's your ball game there. That's really your game. And then the big thing, no Joe Alt. We'll see if this makes the final cut. Sunday Night Football game. I think, oh my goodness, the number 4, our UConn Huskies are up 44-3. That's the men's team. Oh my, that's like a women's game score. Woo! What was that spread? Ken, write in the chat what that spread was. Holy macaroni. That's insane. Now, what I will say, and this is just me thinking outside. Oh, yeah, 48-5. They're playing UMass Lowell. Probably wasn't even a line in that. That's like a little school up in the Northeast. That is, yeah, that's blowout city. All right, Oakland's down 8. All right, they're down 8 with 15 minutes to go. We're getting 31.5. So hang in there. We're hanging in there, folks. Let's see. Did the football game start yet? Let's see. Did we get a start of that college football game? Let's see here. UCF and Houston. No score yet. I'm not seeing an alert on the score. It's on Fox Sports 1. Tune into that. We took the over 47.5. Now, with me going back to the Steeler game, in speaking that Justin Herbert needs to be all world, one thing I want to look at, a prop that I want to look at is his rushing yards, especially if he's under fire and he's under the gun with Joel, and he's been running a lot more this season. So Justin Herbert, just for reference here, this season, okay, I'm looking this stuff up as we go. Herbert. All right, let's see his history. He's the number 2 quarterback in fantasy. Herbert's having a heck of a year. 18 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's run for 305 yards this year. Okay, Garrett, I'm looking this up live now. This was not pre-planned out, right? Obviously, I have a direction, and then we talk. And this is therapy for me. This is me talking the games out, obviously with your feedback. We're figuring this out together. And I had an inkling. I did not know this stat. Look at this. Justin Herbert has 305 rushing yards right now through 9 games. Okay? That's 1 yard short of his career high. I knew I felt like he was rushing more. He's 1 yard short of his career high. 306 in 17 games he ran for last year. Let's see what this, and he ran for 302 yards in his second year in the NFL. Let's see what his over-under is. I think he's got to run for, all right, so if he's at 305 through 8 games, what's that? A little under 30 a game? No, a little under 40 a game. 40 a game would be 9 games. 9 games, 300. My goodness, Dustin. Yeah, that's like what, 35 a game? Let's see. 305 divided by 9. Yeah, 34 yards a game. If this number's right around 30, 35, I might take the running because he's going to be under fire with no Joel. He's going to have to scramble and get out, and he's going to have to make plays, and the run game's going to be struggling too. Let's see what this number is. Just for fun. Player props, rushing. That's rushing attempts. I want yards. 20.5. Oh, my Lord. What's it to get to 25? We got another play. We got another play. Alternate line. Okay, so Justin Herbert's already averaging 33. Was it 33 or 38? Hang on. 33.8 yards rushing a game, Justin Herbert. If he gets to 25, we're getting plus 110. Why would he not run in a very big game at home at night without his left tackle against a pass rush? Why would he not run? Sorry, it's minus 115. I'm taking it. Herbert, 25 yards rushing. There's our fifth. There's our fifth prop bet. Herbert, 25 yards rushing. Book it. Guys, man, does that look good. And they all look good when we're talking about them. That looks real good. All right, Monday night, Eagles, Packers, Monday Night Football. Packers -1. Tough game. Eagles coming off a bye. Saquon Barkley's healthy. A.J. Brown healthy. Everybody's healthy there. Dallas Goedert's playing. Yada, yada, yada. Devontae Smith. Everybody healthy. Packers coming off a tough loss. Tough loss against the Panthers. They just got ran over. Ran over by the Panthers. Rico Dowdle just tore him up. Absolutely run him over. Now, Packers got some injuries. Christian Watson questionable. Tucker Kraft gone for the season. That hurts. Luke Musgrave, probably too late. You guys have already done your waivers. That's why I don't do like a lot of waivers here on Friday. I try to give you like the week further out to keep an eye on. Like I've told you a couple weeks in a row, stash Brandon Ayuk if you're in a season-long league. Stash Jaden Reed for the Packers. He's getting close to coming back. Those are a couple guys to throw on that should be back within the next week or two. Throw them at the end of your bench. They could pay off huge fantasy playoff time or in the next couple weeks. You obviously got Romeo Dobbs. Matthew Golden, the very disappointing first-round rookie. Not a guy I was high on. I don't have him in any single dynasty league. So, I have 14 dynasty leagues. So if I don't have a guy, you know that I'm not high on them. I think he popped up on the injury report. I think he's questionable. Yes. Questionable and didn't practice on Friday. And this is why I want to do this weekend update. They asked me on Pop Sports, what night do you want to do show? And a lot of the guys that work for Pop Sports Network or analysts for Pop Sports, they work on the weekends. A lot of them are in the service industry, bartenders, servers, things like that. They got to work Friday, Saturday night. I mean, that's money time. That's cranking. That's making money. So I said Friday. A lot of these injury reports come out Friday. Teams don't usually practice Saturday. They might do a walkthrough or something. They put out the injury reports Friday. I said, we'll call it weekend update. We'll go through. We'll get you ready. We'll go over the games. We'll make some bets. We'll talk about the games. We'll talk about injuries. We'll talk about fantasy, all that. But that's why. Matthew Golden out of nowhere. If you don't practice on Friday, that's not looking good. That means you got Romeo Dobbs. You got Luke Musgrave. You've got Christian Watson, who's also questionable. I think he's going to play. Malik Heath is dealing with an issue. I mean, it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and more Josh Jacobs, which that Eagles run defense has not been out of this world this year. They have not. Let's see. Christian Watson, they need Jaden Reed back. So stash Jaden Reed. If you're in Dynasty, Jaden Reed people have. If you're in the redraft, he's probably been chilling because he's been injured. Not a lot of people can stash him. Limited practice Friday. Limited practice. He did practice, but he was limited. I got to see this depth chart. Where's this depth chart here? All right. Malik Heath, also hip injury, questionable. What is going on with the Packers? My Lord, who else? Do they still have? There was a Rutgers kid that kind of looked okay, but I can't remember if he's still on the team. Oh, Dontavian Wicks. Savion Williams. Okay, there's a couple names, but he's questionable. Oh, my Lord. What is going on in Green Bay? Oh, yeah. Wicks hasn't played. Limited practice Friday, and he hasn't played for 3-4 weeks. Whew. Nightmare. Big game for Romeo Dobbs and a huge game for Jacobs. Oh, my God. Oh, here we go. This is why we converse. Mainly me conversing with myself, but I hope you're enjoying watching the madness that is Dustino. Okay, but if we're talking this all out, they don't have anybody to throw. And we know the Packers already like to run the ball. How many freaking carries is Jacobs going to get? Got to be over 20, right? He's a workhorse to begin with. Let's check this out. Carries, player props, rushing attempts. Josh Jacobs rushing attempts. Drum roll. Hold on. I think we got a drum roll. Hang on, folks. Drum roll. Over 18 carries, minus 125. 21 carries, over 20 and a half carries, plus 185. Dude. Come on. You with me? What do you think? I'm not getting enough feedback here. Josh Jacobs to get to 21 carries. I love this. Certainly, I could take him. You know what? Let's get conservative. Let's take him to get to 18. Jacobs, 18 carries or more is minus 125. 18 carries. If you want to try the 21, go ahead. We're gonna grade it. We're gonna do the minus 125 because we got a bunch of pluses. Boom. Man, oh man, do I love that. Absolutely. Love that. We're on to something. So we got like 1, 2, 3. We got 6 props. 6 props. But we're spending that Oakland Grizzlies money. We're spending Oakland Grizzlies and UCF money. Let's get one last update. That covers all the games. Remember, if you got any questions in the chat, please put it in there. Please put the questions in the chat real quick because we're going to finish up. I'm going to recap the 6 props that we got. I'm going to recap. Well, not recap. I'm going to give you my games, give you my sides. And remember, my sides right now are currently 31-22? Yeah, 31-22. That's right, 31-22. That's against the spread. That's totals. That's mainly games, mainly underdogs, to be honest with you. Let's take one last look at our Grizzlies. Down 4 with 11:42 to go. And we're getting 31.5, ladies and gentlemen. Let's freaking go. That's why we're getting a little crazy with these props. We got 6 props we're going to go over. All right. UCF in Houston just started over 47.5. We love it. All right. So let's recap. Here's our props. Okay. I'll put them down in the chat after the show's over. So you can always go back and I'm sure you'll get a short video, the Cliffs Notes, tomorrow, Sunday morning, whatever. Darnell Mooney, over 49.5 receiving yards. I just want to make sure I got the most accurate number for us. I think it was plus 165. Let's just double check. We think, again, recapping, we think that the new guy, Sauce Gardner, is going to be all over Drake London. So we like Darnell Mooney to get there. Plus, we lost 2 in a row with Darnell Mooney. So we're going to keep going, baby. It is plus 210. Oh, my God. I sold ourselves short. 50 yards, Darnell Mooney, plus 210. Come on. There we go. That's number 1. Number 2, somebody in the chat, guy named Mello. I was starting to think about it, but then he put it 25 yards receiving for Brandon Cooks, plus 130. 25 receiving yards for Brandon Cooks. Remember, they traded away Shaheed. They've only got a couple guys, and they're going to be trailing. Brandon Cooks can still play. Older guy, veteran. We like him 25 yards, plus 130. Jahmyr Gibbs, coming off one of his worst games. We think he bounces back in a huge way. 97.5 total yards. That's rushing and receiving. Against the Commanders' defense, that's terrible. And we think there's a positive game script. Lots of running, lots of Montgomery, lots of Gibbs. Bada boom. Okay, we are taking Kendrick Bourne to get to 50 yards receiving. Remember, it's him, Jennings, and Kittle. Okay, in a game, beautiful weather, lot high over under, a lot of points. Plus 210. We're going back to Kendrick Bourne, who is our OG, our original video on the Pop Sports Network. We're going back to Kendrick Bourne identity. We've got Justin Herbert to get to 25 rushing yards, minus 115. I couldn't find an alternate. Plus, you don't want to go to 50 rushing yards for a quarterback. That's a lot. We're just going to take to get to 25. Actually, that is an alternate because the regular line was 21.5. So, but that was like minus 160. We're going to go to 25, and it's minus 115. So Herbert, 25 rushing yards, minus 115. And then we're going to take this last one, Josh Jacobs, 18 carries. They are banged up in the receiver room. The Eagles' rush defense has not been what it has in years past. The Packers regular game, you like that number. A game at night with receivers banged up. They don't want Love throwing a million times to no names. Lost Tucker Kraft. 18 carries for Jacobs, minus 125. There's our 6 props. Now, here's our sides. Okay? We alluded to it earlier. We gave it to you at the beginning of the show. We're taking Falcons and Colts. We're taking the over 48. Let me make sure that's accurate. Man, it'd be nice if it went to 47. Nope, 48. We think they want a lot of scoring in Berlin. Bottom line, explosive teams. Colts coming off their worst offensive performance. Falcons score in the 20s every time. We think Colts score in the 20s. I think I can see this game being 31-28, 30-27. I think it's a high-scoring game. NFL wants scoring. They want to show off for these people in Berlin. Okay? There's game one. Game number 2. We're taking the Houston Texans +1. I love the Texans. I think the Jaguars are phony. I think this is a much bigger game for the Texans than it is for the Jaguars. Davis Mills is capable. I think the Texans defense is too much. I was leaning over. I'm staying away from it. I'm afraid. We're going Texans +1 is my play. I like them at home, getting a point. I just think the Jags are soft. I think Brian Thomas out is huge. I think the Texans defense handles them. Yeah, I know, Ken. We're going back to the well. I know. But we're going to hit on Mooney. And here's the thing. I'm just saying. He's +210. So if you put up 20, you're getting $42 back. Well, let's say the last 2 weeks we've lost. We lost 20 and we lost 20. If he wins 1 out of 3, he wins this week. We're up $2. Let's keep going to the well. All right. Hey, Ken, you know what this is like? We're at the roulette table, and we've been betting on black, and it's lost. We put 10 and it lost. We put 20 and it lost. We put 40 and it lost. We're going 80, and we're going to hit and get our money back. All right? So that's where we're at with Darnell Mooney, and we got some money in our pocket from the Oakland Grizzlies. All right? We got money in our pocket. All right, so I've given you 2 sides now. Side number 3, we're going. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a million set in stone. Like last week, I loved some games. They were set before I even came on the show. I like the over now that we talk it out, or I should say I talk it out, but you guys, there's some feedback. Then I get fired up and I kind of reiterate to myself. Like I said, this is almost therapeutic for me. That's why I love doing this show. Okay, we are going next to the Minnesota Vikings +4. I'm going back to them +4. I think the Flores defense is going to be tough for Lamar. They beat up on an awful Dolphins team. And they were a little rusty too, truth be told. I don't think the Ravens look fully sharp. And believe it or not, the Dolphins were moving the ball. They made a bunch of mistakes, missed some field goals. Remember, I had them as a teaser. I don't think the Ravens looked that great. They weren't amazing. We're taking Vikings +4, huge home field. They're going to be riled up. J.J. McCarthy, I think it's his first start at home because I think he started 2 games, but they're both on the road. And I just think Brian Flores, he upset him. The Dolphins had no business beating the Ravens that year. They were a huge underdog on a Thursday night. The Flores defense, I think, messes with Lamar. I just think it's a matchup thing. I know Lamar against the NFC. The Godfather sent me that stat where Lamar's amazing against the NFC, but it's okay. We're doing it. So there's side number 3. Number 4, we're going Carolina Panthers -5. As I said before, the Saints are who we thought they were, and they're not getting let off the hook anymore. They put up a good fight. Applaud them, okay? You put up a good fight. You put up a heck of a fight. Party's over, okay? Time to go. The Gong Show. We're off the stage. Get off the stage. Carolina's going to run the bejesus out of the ball. Rico Dowdle's going to have 1,000,000 yards. They're going to pound them into oblivion. Carolina's unbelievable at home. I don't think they've lost at home. I'm pretty sure they're undefeated 4-0 or 3-0. Play totally different at home. Panthers -5. You know me. Don't take a lot of favorites. So I got to feel really good about Panthers -5 if I'm making that a play. So that's 4. Why not do 6? 6 props, 6 plays. What do you think? I think we can get there. And you know how we're going to get there? Because we're going to get there with a game that we already talked about taking. The Rams and the 49ers. Now, hang on one second. I got to edit that because it went to 5. While we were on the show, it went to 5. Our buddy Rob gave us that unbelievable stat, the Shanahan stat. 13-1, the underdog in this thing, and Shanahan 8-0 his last 8 games against McVay against the spread. Niners +5 is our 5th play, and play number 6. Oh man, I'm kind of torn. I really like the Steelers. I really like the Packers, believe it or not. But I think I can see a good scenario where the Packers are just too beat up and become too one-dimensional, and the Eagles off the bye, that I'm going with the Steelers +2.5. So Steelers, we're going back to the well. They were a big one for us last week. We like Tomlin as a dog. We do not like that Joe Alt is out. We're going with the Pittsburgh Steelers +2.5 as our final play. So that's 6 sides in totals, 5 sides, 1 total. We got the over in the Colts game. And we got 6 really live prop bets. 1, 2, 3. 3 of the 6 props are big plus money, +210, +130, +210. And then the other ones are, -115, -125, the Josh Jacobs one. So there you have it, folks. There is the weekend update. We had some fun. We got to watch this Oakland game here live. Let's give you one last update on that game. Still no score in the UCF game. We don't like that, but hey, maybe a live bet it can. Look it up. What's the live? Maybe we talked about the live betting being an edge. Maybe the over-under on UCF now is down to 43, and you get some more, and you're getting a better number. We still like it. Anywho, basketball game. If this wins, oh my God, I'll be kicking myself. Like, what the heck would a money line be on a 31.5 point underdog? I don't think they don't offer it, right? Let me see odds. Yeah, I mean, you can't find a money line. I'm seeing something that says +3,500, and that the Purdue would be -20,000. That's crazy. I didn't see it available, nor would I have taken it. But our +31.5 looks pretty good. We're down 5 with 8 minutes to go. Pretty darn good from Dustino on his first NCAA basketball. Hey, you know what? I'll look at the slate tonight. I'll go over some stuff. Maybe I'll have a short video for you tomorrow morning with another NCAA football or basketball play. If you guys like them, if you're enjoying them. And remember, please be responsible out there. Don't take this serious. This should be like fun stuff. This should be like you're going to the movies money. Or, and you don't go to the movies anymore. Or, you don't go out to eat. Don't get nuts here, people. Come on. As good a run as I'm on and stuff like that, I learned my lesson. I made a lot of stupid mistakes, single, before getting married, had cash all the time, bartending, this and that. Manage your bankroll. Don't get crazy. Have fun with this stuff. And if you're not having fun, it becomes like, oh my God, I got to get this, that, the other. I used to go, every half. I would have bet the second half of Purdue. I would have been live bet. Relax. Enjoy the game. Stay calm. Drink a high noon. High noon. Reach out to the Pop Sports Network. You want to become a sponsor? We'll have you. We'll get you on the Dustino. We'll get you on the weekend update. But anyhow, folks, I'm signing off. I'm going to go in, watch some of that UCF game. I'm going to research some college ball for you tomorrow, both basketball and football. Stay tuned for a short. Like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Let them know they can watch it replay. You can watch it tomorrow morning. You can watch it Sunday morning before the 9:30 game. Make sure you get those fantasy lineups set. And remember, anytime you got a questionable guy, put him into your running back or receiver spot. Don't leave him in your flex. You want to leave that flex open. Sorry, you do put him in your flex. High noon talking. Put your guys that are questionable in your flex so that way you have guys to sub. Make plans, plan ahead. And remember, those Packers, it's a Monday night game, and they got a handful of guys questionable at receiver. So be careful with Christian Watson and all those guys. Other than that, folks, I think we had a great show. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Ken Rock, new guy named Mello. We had another new guy that popped in for a second. Wish you would have stuck around. Don Pulverizer. We had Brian Exner. We had The Godfather in here. Bunch of people. We'll see. Next week, we may get a guest on. We may try to get you a live guest. We may bring The Godfather back. We may bring Jay Joseph back, our Bears guy. Maybe we'll have a little Bears-Giants trash talk, depending on who won. We'll see. We never know what Fridays will bring us. We'll be on next Friday at 6:30. And you know what 6:30 is? It's in between 6 and 7. Sorry. My kids will get that. Your kids will get that. Adults, we don't know what the heck it is. But if we do it enough, maybe it'll be uncool, right? Because it's not cool if your parents are doing it. So anyhow, folks, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great day. Remember, 9:30 game out in Berlin over Colts, Falcons. In the chat, I'll put a little thing, post-show, I'll put a little thing with our 6 plays and our 6 prop bets. Enjoy the night. Go Oakland Grizzlies. Go UCF. Lots of points.